Afternoon. So in the morning we were discussing on, or we did introduce, okay, on the different responsibility centers that can exist in a farm. Okay, we mentioned the cost center, we mentioned the profit center, we mentioned the investment center, as well as we did discuss on what are the key distinctive feature for each of those three centers. Okay, we also mentioned that you can have a case of revenue centers. Okay, a center where more or less the center is possibly meant to generate income. Okay, it doesn't incur cost. Okay, but I did like an example. So either way, what I want to discuss right now is what are the different performance measurements, okay, we can use in each of these center. Okay, what are how do we evaluate, okay, whether the center is performing well or the center is doing poorly. Okay, so let's discuss on the performance measure. Okay, okay, as I mentioned, this is simply the evaluation, okay, of how the center is performing. Okay, the evaluation of how the center is performing. Okay, we the performance measurement. Now, it aims to establish how well something or somebody is doing in relation to the planned activity. Okay, so the different performance measures we're going to be using. Okay, the core goal, the key purpose, or the core purpose of having them is simply an evaluation. Okay, as to how that particular center is performing. Okay, do we deem it to be doing well, or do we deem it to be doing poorly? Okay, that's what we're discussing in this particular subsection. Okay, of the performance evaluation. Okay, evaluating how that particular center is performing. Okay, so begin the first center. We begin with the first center. In this case, the cost center. Okay, how therefore do we evaluate how the cost center is performing? Okay, what are the different measures? What are the different tools? Okay, what are the different methods? Okay, we can use to assess how the cost center is performing. Okay. The first you can use is called the productivity ratio. Okay, it's called the productivity. Okay, and this measure, okay, the measure of productivity, okay, is an evaluation of the efficiency, okay, of the resource utilization. Okay, the resource at the disposal of the cost center, the resource at the disposal of the finance department, for example. Okay, the resource at the disposal of the marketing department. Okay, how effectively, how efficiently, okay, have they been used by the department? Okay, what the extent of effectiveness, efficiency of the utilization of the funds, of the money, okay, that have been used by this particular department. Okay, that we refer to as the productivity ratio. Okay, so this is the quantity of products or service produced, okay, output in relation of the input. Okay, so the comparison of the input, okay, for every 1 kg of raw material. Okay, just an example. Okay, for every 1 kg of material that we do use, okay, how many units of finished products is it able to make? Okay, for example, if we have this particular as an example, assume that for every 1 kg, okay, every 1 kg of material that we use, okay, currently, let's say in the year 2019, okay, it was able to be converted into, this is 1 kg, not dollar, okay. Assume that it was converted into 2 units of raw material, okay, 2 units of raw material. Okay, so the rate of conversion as per the previous year, okay, was for every 1 kg of raw material that was fed into the production process, okay, 2 units of finished goods were produced. Okay, in the year 2020, okay, assume that right now the company is able to achieve, let's say, 2.5 units. Okay, for every 1 kg of raw material, the company is using, okay, in this year, they've been converted into 2.5 units. Okay, then we can say, therefore, definitely that in the year 2020, okay, that as a company, it is able to get more output for the same input of raw material. Okay, 1 kg, previous year was 2 units, this year is 2.5 units. Okay, because therefore in the year 2020, the company production process, okay, is becoming more efficient. Okay, is becoming more efficient in terms of converting the raw material into finished goods. Okay, we call the ratio of productivity. Okay, so the same can be done. Okay, you can say when it comes to the cost center, we evaluate. Okay, for example, okay, but how much was the resource that was what is the budget? Okay, so let's say take a for example, the example of marketing department. Okay, example of marketing department. okay, as a cost center, okay. I see that the amount spent, okay, by the company in this department, okay, the budget for 2019, okay, was, let's say, $1 million, okay. We determine, okay, how many new customer, okay, their assessment is new customer. How many new customer did we attract as a company in the year 2019? Okay, 2019. Okay, assume that in 2019, new customer the company was able to attract was, let's, for example, okay, let's say 10,000 customers for that year. Okay, so out of the marketing the company spent, the new customer the company was able to attract was 10,000 customers. If we have to spend, for example, okay, $2 million, okay, in the year 2020, okay, and the number of new customers the company is able to attract, therefore, is equal to, let's say, 15,000 new customer, okay, 15,000 new customer, okay, then you can see that at the end of the day, okay, for every dollar that we spend, okay, for $1 million, okay, we're able to get 10,000, okay, therefore we would expect, okay, if you spend 2 million, you're going to be getting 20,000 new customer. But the company only got 15,000 new customers. That implies, therefore, in the year 2020, okay, the marketing department utilization of the funds at its disposal was inefficient, okay, because if you compare with last year, 1 million was equivalent to 10,000 customers. 2 million, we expect it to have to be 20,000 customers. But if you're able to only get 15,000 customers, then therefore the use of funds in year 2020 has been inefficient. Okay, has been inefficient. Okay, we'll call the use of the ratio of productivity, or productivity ratio, comparing input versus output. Okay, comparing input versus output. Okay, input here versus the input, output versus the input. Okay, this is the input. Okay, the amount of dollar. This is the output, the new customer the company has been able to attract over that particular time period. Okay, that's the first ratio. Okay, the use of the productivity ratio. Clear? Okay, silence means that it's clear. The measure you can have is the use of the cost per unit. Okay, the cost per unit. Okay, for instance, if you have to just go back to the previous example, the one I just given here of the marketing department. Okay, so you can see therefore that if you determine the cost for every new customer, the cost the company was incurring in year 2019. Okay, in the year 2019, okay, the cost per new customer, okay, that is for year 2019, was, let's say, equal to $1 million. We divide by the new customer, this is 10,000 customers, okay, which we got. Therefore, for every new customer, the cost incurred is equal to 100. Yes, 100. Okay, per new customer. Okay, per new customer. Okay, this is our basis can use. Okay, so we can do that comparison. We compare with 2020. Okay, the cost per unit, the cost per new customer, for example. Okay, will be equal to 2 million divided by the new customers. We have 15,000 customer. And you get how much? If we are to spread over the 2 million across the new customer, the cost the company has incurred in attracting new customer in the year 2020 is how much?
133.3 recurring.
Okay, 133 to be the amount the company is incurring when it comes to attracting every new customer. Okay, and in case it is, we can now be able to critique. Okay, we cannot be able to criticize that since the company was incurring a cost of $10 for new customer, and now we incur a cost of $3.3, then the company is coming. Therefore, as a company, we are becoming worse off. Okay, as time is going by. Okay. Why? Because you used to incur less cost to attract new customer, but this year, 2020, you're incurring more cost. Okay. Therefore, here it's worth enough that we may want to ask or put into task, okay, the marketing manager, okay, the marketing director, okay, why this is the case, okay, that we are spending more money, okay, to so that we can attract more customer. But if anything, to get a new customer, it's becoming more expensive. Okay, could the market be? Is it that the market is fully saturated? Okay, that we don't have any other new customer. Okay, we can attract. Okay, because if the market is already full, okay, in the sense that even if you lower the prices, no one is going to come no one is going to be able to buy the commodity. But the market is already full. What do? We may want to determine maybe next year we don't need to spend a lot of money, okay, because the market is already full. Okay, That's therefore a cost measurement basis. Okay, we should be able to tell and we should be able to critique. Okay, what's happening when it comes to, for example, an increased cost from 100, okay, to let's say 133. Okay, so this is of the cost per unit. Okay, the cost per unit. Okay, this is the case of, or the case of, just the case of marketing department. Okay, the same can be done in case the department is production department. Okay, we can say therefore how many units do you produce? Okay, 2019 in the production department, the company produced 1 million units. Okay. At what cost? Okay, the cost was, let's say, 100,000, 100 million. Okay, now this year how many units do you produce? We have produced this year because of the poor economic conditions. Okay, we only been able to sell, let's say, 800,000 units. Okay. Okay, this year the same number of sales is, let's say 750,000, okay, units. Okay, we compare this with last year. Okay, therefore if we do the cost per unit as per last year, okay, it was equal to 100 million cost. We divide by the units, which was 1 million. Therefore the cost will equal to $100 per unit. Okay, this year what's the cost we have incurred so far? We have incurred a cost of, let's say 85 million. Okay, therefore what's the cost per unit? The cost per unit this year is equal, therefore 85 million, okay, divided by 25 million to give us one. So this is 750,000. This is the number of units in the year 2020 is 750,000. Okay, 750,000. Give us one. Simply divide 85 million divided by 750.
113.3 recurring.
113, okay, 113, okay. Get 113. Now we can now go to question the manager, okay, the one in charge of production. Okay, what's happening? Okay, that the cost we incurring per unit last year was 100 units. This year it's 113. Okay, what's happening? Okay, that we are now having to produce the same unit. Okay, this year the cost we incurring is much more greater if you have to compare with either with the industry, that is the other companies, our competitor, or even comparing ourselves with the year 2019. Okay. So the use of the cost per unit as the performance assessment basis. Okay, clear question? Okay. You can also use what we call the standard hours, okay, when it comes to the evaluation of the performance of an entity, okay, the use of the standard hours, okay. And if you remember, when you're discussing on labor payment, okay, we did say that, okay, you have, or if you have the direct employees, okay, you pay them at a basic rate, okay, for the required hours, for the standard hours, okay, then we did say that that was part of the direct cost. Anyway, when it comes therefore to performance measurement, okay, the performance measurement for material and labor costs, okay, we may want to evaluate what was actually spent versus what the company was intending to spend, okay. What was actual? What was the actual? Okay, and what is the expected? Okay, what was the actual versus what is expected? Okay, and as we mentioned, if there's variance, then definitely we may want to evaluate what's the cost of this variation. Okay, the budget for marketing was 10 million, was a million. Okay, this year you have spent 1.5 million. Okay, now why did you go over and above the budget? Why do you have a variance here? That the actual is 1.5, the budget was meant to be 1 million. Okay, what will be the contributor? Okay, that now you're spending more money than what we had planned for. Okay, could we mean that we have some issues when it comes to cost management? Okay, now don't forget the reasons why you're going to have the variation could be maybe terms of labor, for instance. Okay, is in case the actual hour that we spend, okay, to our employees, the one who are working in the production department, okay, is much more greater, okay, than the standard hours. Okay, standard hours is if one unit, okay, if the production was to be done in the optimal condition, okay, how many hours, okay, should they take to manufacture, for example, one unit, okay, to make one motor vehicle, okay, as a company, okay, we as Toyota, okay, how many hours does it take to make, for example, one unit, okay, of a new car, okay? We make a comparison, okay, with what was actually spent, okay, and of course now we introspect. Why do we have a variation between the actual hours spent in making of this one unit, okay, versus, okay, how many hours was actually taken in making this one unit? Okay, so we compare the expected hours versus the actual hours. Okay, if you have a case where the actual hours are greater than what was budgeted, what was planned for, then that's we have called an adverse variation. Okay, we have called adverse variation. Okay, therefore, you as a company, you need to put measures in order to mitigate or control that cost. Okay, because the actual is different from the standard. Okay, maybe if the reverse occur, where you have a case where the actual hours are less than what we had planned for, what we had expected, then that's something good. We have called the variance there is favorable. If we have a favorable variance. If what we had actually planned, what we actually the number of actual hours is lower than what we had actually budgeted for. That's a favorable variance. Something good. But of course, you may want to know exactly what could be the contributor towards this variation. And in the hours, which I think you have mentioned, is the number of hours, is the quantity of work achieved, at a standard performance expressed in terms of standard units of work done in a standard period of time, so you may want to explain that, for instance, within 1 hour, within 1 hour, how many units you as this particular worker, how many units should they be making per hour? Then, for instance, if the conditions are good, they ought to be making, for example, 100 units. Then if maybe, then you compare, this is the standard, this is the standard. Now, if maybe you want to make an evaluation, we pick a day, for example, in day 2, in 1 hour, how many units did the worker make? They made 98, 98 units. You cannot make a comparison, therefore. You're meant to make 100, if all these are working well, but you made 98, Therefore, as a management, therefore, you can now be able to get to understand why did this particular employee, this worker make 98 instead of 100, what could be the factor here, were they sick, what's the issue here, was the machine slow, so you may want to be able to introspect, by comparing the actual performance versus the standard, so the standard must be there, so that you can track and say whether these are improving or these are becoming worse off, by comparing the standard versus the actual, Clear? Question? Okay. So that might be quite different, from the actual quantity of work done, in which case the cost of the difference need to be investigated, I think I've just mentioned that, in case the standard hours, or even standard units, to be made in 1 hour is different from the actual hours or the actual units produced within the same time period, for instance, And as I've said, if the entity, is there to improve itself, then of course the management, the one in charge of the department, should introspect the cause of the variation, the variance. Why do we have two units short of what we were expecting? We were expecting to get 100 units per hour. Now we get 98 units per hour. Why do we have this case here? That the units produced per hour is lower than what we were anticipating, than what we are expecting. What will be the cause? You need to make that introspection. You as the one in charge of that particular center, the one in charge of that particular maybe cost center. Clear? Then you can also use the use of efficiency, which I think I've mentioned, the use of efficiency, which I think I've mentioned, so I don't need to go back at it, We can also have the use of capacity utilization, capacity utilization, Now, in the case of capacity utilization, what you have to check, is more towards what was. If you use it, for example, you use the standard hours, to make 1 unit, this particular unit requires, let's say, 2 hours, if you were to make 10,000, you have to make, let's say, 1,000 units, then how many hours do we anticipate that this 10,000 units therefore should be having, should be consuming, Therefore, it's a simple multiplication. For instance, let me just take you through this notes here, When setting the budget for a cost center, It is normally to specify how long should take to produce each item. Okay, you have called the standard. Okay, that to make one unit, okay, how many hours does it consume? Okay, as Toyota Kenya to make one motor vehicle. Okay, Toyota Incorporation. Okay, to make one motor vehicle, how many hours in optimal condition does it take? Okay, therefore you set to go the standard hour. Okay, you set to go the standard hour that is meant to be made, that is meant to be taken to produce that one unit. Okay, for example, if a unit should, for example, if each unit should take 2 hours, okay, to produce, and the output plan is 5,000. Then the total hours, okay, that you're going to therefore be extracting, okay, to be taken will be 5,000. Okay, therefore 5,000 times 2, because each unit takes 2 hours. Okay, and then we want to make 5,000 units. Okay, therefore in total the factory hours, okay, will be equal to 10,000 hours. Okay, for the company to make the 5,000 units they're planning, okay, therefore they must therefore budget for 10,000 hours. Okay, you're trying to say that therefore the 10,000 hour for that time period therefore becomes therefore the capacity of the factory. Okay, the capacity of the factory. Okay, comparing, okay, what was the planned number of hours that the units that we are expecting ought to have taken. Okay, call the capacity of that particular factory. Clear?
No, could you repeat the last part from the example? Lovely nakuja into play.
Okay. Assume that we have a factory here whose if the production was to take in optimal condition, if the production was to take under the optimal condition, the number of hours that each unit should be taking is 2 hours. Okay, you have done that. Okay, it's 2 hours. Okay, we have it here. Okay, now if within a given 1 month, okay, the plan for the company is to produce 5,000 units. Okay, is produce 5,000 units. Okay, this is the plan. This is what the company is expecting. Okay, the 5,000 units is what the company is planning to produce in the next 1 month, for instance. Okay, therefore the number of hours that the company needs to plan for, okay, don't forget 1 unit is 2 hours. You want to make 5,000 units. Therefore, how many hours do you plan for? Is 2 times 5 together for 10,000. Now this 10,000 hours, okay, so we call it the factory hours, okay, is therefore the capacity of the particular factory. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great. Okay, therefore the capacity of this particular factory, therefore, is therefore going to be equal to, okay, 10,000 hours. Okay. Now the idea of having therefore the capacity utilization as an issue here, okay, this capacity utilization, okay, is simply to determine therefore out of this 10,000 hours that we had planned for, okay, how many hours, for instance, have we actually, okay, used, okay. This is what we are planning to, this is number of hours we have at hand, okay. But out of the 10,000 hours we have, okay, how many have we actually been able to utilize? The core capacity utilization. And let's continue. Now the efficiency ratio, okay, through the use of number of hours, okay, simply making a comparison of comparing the actual production, okay, versus the standard hours, okay, and make a comparison here. What I mean, let me just use the same example, okay. Now, if the plan was produce 10,000 units, this is the plan we have in the previous question, okay. This was the plan. We make a comparison that this was the plan. Let me call this the budget. Okay. However, in the actual sense, the company in that month only produced 9,000 units. Okay. In actual sense, the company only produced 9,000 units. This is the actual production. This is actual production. Now, that's therefore that the number of hours, okay, that the production, the units were meant to take, these 9,000 units were meant to take is therefore equal to 9,000 times 2. Because to make 1 unit at a standard condition, okay, 1 unit takes 2 hours. Therefore, the total number of hours that was meant to take was therefore equal to 18,000 hours, for instance. Okay. Is that clear? Okay, let me just go use what we have been given there in that question so that We don't confuse. The plan was to make 5,000 units. Let me just do that way. Okay, the plan was to make 5,000 units. Okay, if in actual sense the company produced only for 500 units, okay, therefore the number of hours was meant to be, therefore for 500 times 2, you're therefore 9,000. This just is a continuation of the example you just mentioned in the previous slide. Okay, therefore the number of hours that the 500 units were meant to take is therefore 9,000 hours. We compare with in actual sense to make this 4,500 units. Okay, how many hours did we take? Okay, the company took. Okay, if the company, for example, took 11,000 hours. Okay, if the company took 11,000 hours to make this 4,500, okay, we can see that this company was inefficient, okay, because it was meant to take 9,000, they took 11,000, okay, there was a ratio. It would be 9,000, okay, divided by 11,000, and we express this as a percent. This is what we refer to as, therefore, as the efficiency ratio, okay, referred to as the efficiency ratio. This is the standard hours on the actual quantity. We divide by the actual hours taken. And of course, you express this as a percent. Okay, and we get how much by the 9 divided by 11 in percent. Nine divided by 11 as a percent. What do you get?
81.
91%. Okay, therefore we get 91%. Okay.
80, 81.
81%.
81, yeah.
81.
Now, in case if we get an issue, if you're trying to make an evaluation of the efficiency, okay, if you get an issue less than 100%, if you get a ratio less than 100%, then we can deem, therefore, the labor force of that company to be inefficient. Okay, there's some element of inefficiency. Okay, that is existing within this company workers. Okay, if the ratio is not 100%, like in this case, therefore, which is 81%. Okay, if you get a ratio greater than 100%, let's say you get 105%. Now, what does it indicate? Indicate that this company is very efficient in terms of they took less hour, okay, to make the output. Okay, they took less hour to make the output. Okay, so any ratio going to be less than 100% indicates inefficiency in this company labor force. Clear? Clear? Okay, because
Absolutely.
yes, okay, that's good because you give a ratio and you're meant to interpret that ratio. Okay, what does this ratio indicate? A ratio of 99%. What does it indicate? Okay, so you'll be asked to make an interpretation. Okay, so I really hope that you have gotten what the ratio means. Any ratio less than 100% indicates inefficiency in terms of the labor force utilization. Okay, is indicate inefficiency. A ratio of more than 100% indicate efficiency. Okay, indicate that the labor force was efficient. Okay, than even what was extracted. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I missed the calculation part. I didn't get how things display into place. So if you could just repeat.
Which calculations?
This is standard hours, the efficiency ratio thing.
Hey, you guys, you need to concentrate. Okay, you need to pay more attention. Okay, because now you're taking me back many years. Anyway, so here you give an example. Okay, this is a continuation from the previous example. Okay, we see that the plan was to make 5,000 units. Okay, from the previous example that we have done here. Okay, let me just rub off some of these things here. Okay, the plan was for this company was to make 5,000 units. Okay, that's a plan, that's a budget. Okay, so coming here, okay, if that's the plan for the company to make 5,000 units, okay, and in actual sense, they make the actual units they produce, that particular time period is 4,500. Okay, therefore we make a comparison. Okay, to make these 4,500, okay, how many hours are they meant to take? Okay, don't get to make 1 unit, you are meant to consume 2 hours. Okay, the total number of hours this 4,500 units should ought to have taken is 9,000 hours. Okay, we compare what is the actual hour the company took to make this 4,500. They took 11,000 hours. We compare the actual hours, okay, actual production based on standard hours divided by actual hours. Therefore, 9,000 divided by 11,000, okay, in percent got 81%. Okay, we just said that if you're going to get a ratio that is going to be less than 100%, what does it indicate? Okay, like in this example, it indicates therefore inefficiency in terms of the use of labor force. Okay, you get a ratio of let's say 105%. What does it indicate? It indicates efficiency. Okay, it indicates that this labor force or the workers of this company were very efficient in terms of using that resource. Okay, the company was efficient in terms of using the resource in disposal. In this case, is a worker. Okay, or because you have a ratio of more than 100%. Okay, so as I was mentioning that at the end of the day, okay, you can be able to observe the ratio and make a conclusion. Okay, what does it indicate? A ratio of more than 100% in this example here, okay, indicates efficiency, or the company is efficient in using the resource they have. In this case, using the labor force, okay, using their workers. Okay, in that sense. Okay, if the ratio is not going to be less than 100%, example 81% we have here in this example. What does it indicate? It indicates that the company is inefficient, okay, in terms of use of its workers, its labor force. Clear?
Yes.
The next issue you can use when it comes to evaluation of the company is what we call the capacity utilization. Okay. Now, as I had mentioned, okay, let me just take you back to this example. We just continue with this example here. Okay. You are saying that the company is planning to produce 5,000 units here. Okay. And the hours per unit they're meant to take is 2 hours per unit. Therefore, the capacity of this company, we said, is equal to 10,000 units. Okay. Now you want to make therefore an evaluation of how, to what extent has the company used this capacity? Okay, has the company underutilized this capacity, or has the company actually used more than what the planned for? Okay. Now the use of this ratio, the capacity utilization, we want to do that comparison. Okay. How many hours do we have? We had the capacity you have as a company is 10,000 hours. Okay. How many hours did you use? You only used 8,000. Therefore, what's the capacity? Okay, you only used 9,000 actually. You only used, how many hours do you use? Let me just continue from the efficiency. The hours that, here it is, okay. The hours that was used is 11,000 hours, okay. 11,000 hours, okay. The capacity you had was 10,000 hours, okay. Therefore, we rub off this 8,000. We continue with the previous example, 11,000 hours. And it means therefore, the hours that we had budgeted for, okay, that we knew we had as per se, was 10,000 hours, okay. But how many hours did we actually use? It was 11,000 hours. Good or bad? It's something good, okay, because you, in quote, okay, went overboard than even your capacity, okay. As a student, you're meant to score 60, okay. A student, that's the capacity of the student, okay. The student was meant to score 60%. What did they actually score? They scored 90%. Then that's something good, okay. The same applies to this company, okay. They're meant they only had the capacity was 10,000 hours, but actually they're able to stretch themselves to 11,000 hours, okay. Therefore, we of course we clear this as a percent, okay. If, for instance, the capacity of the company was 10,000, okay, like you just done, but they only used 8,000, okay, then this company has therefore idle capacity, okay, because you're meant to have 10,000 at hand, okay, but you're only using a portion of it, okay. That's not going to be good, okay, because you have 10,000, you need to use that 10,000, okay, but now you only use 8,000, okay. The hours you have at hand, the workers you have, okay. Therefore, there was some idle labor force which you're paying for it. Don't forget, okay, you're paying for it, okay. That's therefore is a concern, okay. Therefore, capacity utilization is comparing what can I be able to do, okay, 10,000. What do you actually do, okay, with those, what was the actual output, okay, actual hours used, okay, as per se. You used 11,000 hours, okay, good or bad? That's something good, okay, because you went overboard, okay, what was your capacity, okay, or capacity utilization, okay. So you compare actual hours worked, okay, versus what was budgeted, versus what was planned for, okay. It means the extent to which the planned utilization has been achieved. Okay, to what extent has it been achieved? It has been overachieved. For instance, in this example, it is over 100%, so it has been overachieved. Okay, if it is given in this case here, then this is not a good concern because you're not using the entire capacity which you have of 10 dozen hours per month or per year, for instance. Clear? Question? Okay. I hope you're getting these formulas because you'll be given a question, it's upon you to apply the formula. They're quite self-explanatory, they're quite easy. Okay, if you just introspect the meaning of each of the definition. This is capacity. Okay, to what extent have you utilized your capacity? Okay, efficiency. Okay, is how efficient you are in terms of using in terms of utilizing your labor force. Then you have the next ratio called the production volume ratio. Okay, the production volume ratio. Okay, production volume ratio. Now this compares the number of the standard hours, okay, equivalent to the actual hours that we are making a comparison. We are simply picking, okay, the hours, okay, that we are meant to, the units we produce, okay, the units that we produce, okay, how many hours are they meant to take, okay? The units we produced, how many hours, okay, were they meant to take? We compare with what was our budget, okay, compare with what was our capacity, okay? The actual units we produced, okay, how many hours were they meant to take? Not what they took, not what they took, okay? How many hours were they meant to take, okay? Therefore, if for instance, to extend our example, okay, the company produced the actual workforce 4,500, okay, times 2, okay, which you got as 9,000. To produce the 4,500 hours, the 4,500 units, okay, the company was meant to have taken 9,000 hours. Okay, compare was the budget. Okay, the budget was meant to be 10,000 hours. Okay, therefore, this therefore converts to 90%. Okay, that we are meant to have taken. Our budget was 10,000. Okay, but in this case, okay, we are meant to have taken. Okay, the actual units that we took was 45. We are meant to have taken. Okay, 9,000 hours. Okay, good or bad? This is now good. Okay, in this example, this is quite good. Okay, because you went below your budget. Okay, you don't want to supersede your budget. Okay, to make those units. Okay, and that's on those ratios. Okay, production volume ratio, ratio of efficiency, and the capacity utilization ratio. Take a minute to go through those, to let it sink. Okay, I suppose that you've gone through those 3 ratios. Okay, I hope you're able to note the formulas. Okay, because without those formulas, then you can't do anything. Okay, in the analysis bit of it. Okay, so there's your question. Therefore, go through this example. We attend to it together. Okay, let's attend to it together. Let's presuppose that you have gone through it. So in this case, you need to get the efficiency, capacity utilization, as well as the production volume ratio. Okay, let's begin the efficiency. Okay, in efficiency, to make The actual production was 5200. So actual production is 5200. Okay. The 5200. Okay. We multiply by, we want to determine therefore, let me actually write it down. Okay. This is actual production based on the started hours, actual units production based on the started hour. Okay, the amount to the hour per unit is 2. Therefore, the amount of taken 10,400. Amount of taken 10,400. Okay. We compare with the actual hours that they took. They took 10,800. We compare the hours the amount to take to the amount to have taken. Okay, this case was 10,800. Okay, so actual hours is equal to 10,800. Therefore, how efficient, okay, were the workers in terms of, okay, how efficient were the workers in terms of, how efficient were the workers in this particular company comparing with, example, what do I want to use? Based on the hours that these particular workers took, okay, based on the hours, these hours, based on the hours these workers took, okay, was what the amount of taken, okay, how efficient were they, okay, how efficient were these workers, okay. For instance, okay, here they took 10,400, okay, the amount of taken 10,400, okay, but they took 10,800, okay, therefore they are inefficient in a way, okay, therefore the ratio therefore be equal to 10,400, okay, we divide by the actual hours they took 10,800, okay, and we extract this as a percent. Okay, and you get how much? 90?
96%.
6%. Okay, as I had mentioned, if the ratio is going to be less than 100%, then it is an indicator of efficiency in terms of labor utilization. Okay, that's the case of the FE ratio. The next ratio, okay, is capacity utilization. Is on capacity utilization. The first thing to note is what is the capacity of this company? Okay, what is the capacity? The capacity of this company was what was the plan? Okay, the plan for the company was to make how many units? Was to make 5,000 units. The capacity for this company was to make 5,000 units. Okay, and each unit for 2 hours. Each unit for 2 hours. Therefore, times 2. Okay, together for 10,000 hours was the capacity of this particular company. So, to what extent has the company actually used this capacity? Okay, with the actual hours. Okay, they took. Okay, the actual hours the company took. Okay, we divide by what was the budget. Okay, and of course we express a percent. Okay, therefore this is again therefore equal to the actual hours was 10,800. We divide by the budget, which was 10,000, and we express as a percent. Okay, we compare the actual versus what was the capacity of this company. Okay, so the capacity, as we have mentioned, okay, the capacity of the company is simply the capacity of the company is simply what was the plan? Okay, how many units were you planning to make? Okay, and how many hours were they meant to have taken those units? Okay, and you get how much?
%.
Okay, and you get 108%. You get 108%. Now, what does this indicate? It indicates that more labor hours worked than what was budgeted. Okay, more labor hours worked than what was budgeted. Okay, that's the capacity utilization. Okay, lastly, I'll call the production volume ratio. Okay, the production volume ratio. Production volume ratio. Okay, in this ratio, don't forget, we compare, okay, how in hours, okay, what was the expected hours for the actual production, which we already have done. Okay, this is the expected hours for the actual production. Okay, we compare that with what was the budget. Okay, compare with what was the budget. Okay, that will be 10,400. Okay, compare with the budget, and the budget was 10,000. What was the budget? Yes, the compare the budget, which was in this case 10,000. Okay, so we do it with 10,000, and we expect this as a percent. Okay, what does it indicate?
%.
104%. Okay, and get 104%. Okay. That's on the one of the way you can evaluate, okay, a cost center, okay, through the use of those three ratios, okay, a production volume ratio, efficiency ratio, and the capacity utilization ratio, okay, the capacity utilization ratio. Question? Question? Okay, there's an article I think I'll share with you on the e-learning. It's an article from your ACCA, your exam in ACCA, okay, on these three ratios, okay, so that you can have a good understanding of these ratios, okay. So there's an article that I'll share it with you, okay, so that have an even more detailed explanation of it. Okay, no question? Because I have questions myself.